Good morning, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. As you know, we're on YouTube at Preach Facts. Last night was a live session. We had a heated debate. I was heated. He wasn't. He was very calm. And he brought up a lot of stuff that was kind of interesting. For one of his main points was, and no, don't get me wrong, I'm not running from anything. All of your points I'll bring up. But when my points come up, it's nothing, they don't want to mention it. Okay. He brought up about the third temple. First of all, he said that Jesus Christ couldn't be the king, couldn't be the son because he was one of David, couldn't be the Messiah because he was one of David's descendants. Okay. For one, Messiah or no Messiah, Jesus is what he is. So that whole Messiah ideology, I don't even agree with that. So that's for one. I don't hang my hat on the Messiah hook. Okay. Jesus is Lord, Jesus is King. Okay, so all that Messiah stuff, y'all can have that. But either way, your stuff wasn't definitive. It was just, okay, since it says that David is cursed and that he can't reign, that Jesus can't be king. Next example, he said that because Jesus didn't rebuild the temple. I said, ho, ho, ho. It's very clearly stated that the temple was rebuilt as a spiritual temple, not as a physical temple. And I said, well, just because he isn't out there with his brick and mortar and he built it and got a work permit, you're saying that the prophecy didn't come true. But the point I was making, he wouldn't give me any ground that it was a spiritual temple. And so the point that I'm trying to make now to y'all is that I'm trying to tell him what I'm saying, and I'm hearing his side. I'm hearing what you're saying, but don't just not give me any ground to what I'm saying. I think he said something along the lines, oh, well, they say that conveniently. Christians say that conveniently because he didn't build the temple. No, that's actually not what happened. What happened was he built a spiritual temple. Okay. So my point is that don't act like your deductions are law, because it's not. Okay? Don't act like your deductions are law. Okay, so and then we got on the topic of just basic reasoning. So I said, okay, we're talking about evolution. He brought up evolution first. I said, okay, well, I said, you don't know a lot of stuff. I said, well, you don't even know how you got where you are. He said, yeah, I know where I am. I know how I got here. I got here by my parents. Okay. I said, but yeah, but you don't know how you got here. He said, yeah, we got here through evolution. I said, okay, well, show me where the little people are. I said, how do we grow up vertically? How does that work in the eyes of evolution, stage by stage? He said, what do you mean vertically? What does that even mean? Is that even a word? I said, yeah, it's the opposite of horizontal. It's not side to side. It's from top to bottom. It's going up. He claims he was a carpenter. I don't know. He's a great guy. I hope he comes back. I offered to be his friend. He said no. He said, I don't know you from Adam's aunt. You're not my friend. Okay, fair enough. I hope he comes back on the show, because just because you're talking calmly and all that, and from a elevated position, making confident assertions and postulations does not mean that you have any grounds to your argument. Okay. So I learned a lot. Oh, then he said world peace. Because the Messiah, but yeah, he said world peace. I said, for one, world's not over. So he's listing so what they do is they say, okay, Christ isn't the Messiah. Let's go find everything we can that points in that direction. That's how that works. That's how that works. And I'm saying to myself, okay, you've been studying the Bible for 25 years. At what year do you stop? At what year do you become convinced? At 25, or you just figured it out at like 10 years, and then you're like, then you just keep studying just for a hobby. It's your hobby to disprove God. That's your hobby. Okay, so you've been studying the Bible for 25 years, but you don't trust it. Can somebody make that sense for me? Okay. You would think after, 1 or 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and then you have your doubts, so you're still reading. 15, 18 years in, I'm still reading. In the 25th year, you said, oh, it's not real, I just want to study it. Okay. Makes sense, I guess. That's not what they do. When detectives find, and they're looking for stuff, they find the evidence to put somebody away, they put them away, and then they go on to the next case. They don't study it for 25 years, because you're not right. He prides himself in his so-called, that's his name, that's his screen name, Bible study dude. I mean, when you pride yourself in disproving God, and then your evidence isn't even solid, and then when I raise my case against you, it's like, you're not even, I'm hearing what you're saying, you're making sense. I see where it's coming from. Okay, but when I say something, it was no grounds given. Period. I'm saying, okay, do you see where I'm coming from? Okay. Okay. So, and we're here with a Bible study today. We're in 37:18, y'all. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate him coming on. I hope he comes back. And I want to hear a lot of this stuff. And I want to just say, man, the stuff that you're saying, you're right. It does point against that stuff. Is it definitive? No. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's cherry picking. It's cherry picking. You're cherry picking against the Messiah. Messiah or no Messiah. Jesus is King. He's Lord. Okay? I don't have nothing to do with that Messiah junk. Okay? So I said, so where are we growing up from the little people? Okay, 20 minutes later, no good 10, as he's stalling, pulling up. We don't do stalling here. If I don't have an answer, I don't have an answer. If I don't have a backup, I don't have a backup. But don't sit here and stall me out as a tactic to try to give you time to pull up a picture of Darwin's theory of evolution. And by the way, evolution is not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker, okay? So I'm just saying, don't try to pull up stuff of a picture of apes growing up. You mean like this? You mean like this? And then he showed me a picture of skulls and stuff like this. And then there's a picture of a small skeleton. Okay. I mean, it's just, and then there's a period. He says, okay, well, here we are back then. He's showing me the timeline going back on this thing. But it's modern day pictures of animals. Here we were 4 million years ago. And there's a picture of like a raccoon and like a lemur or something. And then it goes back another. And here we are back in this era. And it's pictures of modern day animals today. So it doesn't make any sense, man. How are you showing me an illustration of something back then, but there's a picture of today's animals? Well, they evolved alongside us. No. Like I said, how are you showing me what we look back then, but they're pictures of animals that we have today? Okay. Point made. I'm hearing your points. Hear my points. Okay? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I wasn't there with the Christ. I didn't know Peter firsthand. I didn't know Paul. I didn't know James. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you could be onto something. But when you can't give me the benefit of the doubt, don't sit here and tell me you're having a gentleman's argument, because you're not giving any grounds on fairness. Okay? When you don't give any benefit of the doubt, that's not a fair argument, because you're not hearing my case. You're not hearing my case that the temple, and that's just scripturally written, that the temple was within us. And the veil torn in two, and isn't that? That was the only account. If you didn't believe, you wouldn't still be looking. You wouldn't still be stating your case. Okay? Don't you have anything better to do than to sit here and try to disprove the one that you're in the hands of? Doesn't make any sense to me. So, guys, we're going to push on. We're in 37:18. Okay. 37:17. Genesis 37:17. And the man said, they are departed hence. For I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And guys, I just want to say, Happy Mother's Day. I understand what they're saying. These verses and stuff point in a direction. Point towards, if there was a proof, if there was a doctrine or a teaching or a truth, if there was a truth that the Christ wasn't who he says he was, those verses would point in that direction. But they are not definitive anything about who it's supposed to be. That does not negate or anything. You can stand behind it, you can say it, but it doesn't do anything. And guess what? Let's say that the verses were wrong. Let's say the genealogies do contradict. Christ is still Christ. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Christ is still Christ. He still rose from the dead. Errors, if there's errors in the Bible, if the genealogies contradict, if it's saying it's not the Messiah, guess what? God can do what he wants to do. Doesn't matter. It says right there in the New Testament, cleverly devised stuff. Cleverly devised things. Strange doctrines. But we're eyewitnesses, he said. We saw this. Okay, and many others saw the Christ resurrected. This is not just a thing, man. So I see where you're coming from. But don't sit here and tell me this is enough. You can lean in that direction, but you can't sit here and tell me this is solid proof that the Christ isn't the Christ and that God isn't real. And that evolution is a solid thing. I mean, I could see if you had something solid to go on, but you're bringing up every possible thing that could possibly point in that direction. And then on top of that, the stuff that you're bringing up, I only heard two of them, because if the rest was anything like that, oh, if God wasn't all good God and world peace and this and that, bro, that is so weak. And that's the reason you've been studying so long, because the evidence is not enough. Okay, you got one, you got two. You are compiling as much BS as you can so that your case looks better. You're compiling as much BS as you can so that your case looks better. Oh, here's exhibit A, B, C, D. No, just come with one solid thing and that's it. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's what God did. He came on the cross and he did one thing and that was it. He understands the value of quality, not a bunch of BS. But no, you're hanging your hat on this. You're standing behind it. So what do? They dismiss the Bible altogether. Not only do we study it for 25 years, now we discredit it altogether. Oh, I believe some of it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. So, okay, so it's we don't believe it's Messiah. Okay. We don't believe he's Messiah based on blah, 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 blah. That isn't exact. Okay. Number two, oh, we don't believe any of the New Testament anyway. So, okay. Okay, so at the end of the day, it's I don't know. That's what they say. I don't know what's going on. I'm on the fence. Well, guess what? I don't know about what you're saying either. That's okay. I'm willing to hear all the scriptures, all the cases, but it better be solid, man. It better be solid. This whole thing, man. This whole Messiah thing is just thrown around, man. You know. So just because you're talking calmly, and I went back and reviewed it, I feel good about what our position. Just because you're talking calmly and you're dodging questions and you're stalling and pulling up pictures of Darwin's theory of somebody growing up, he never told me how that works. It's, oh, you don't understand evolution. He never walked me through that, how that works. What do you mean? If we're 6 feet tall, we was eventually nothing tall. We didn't just exist from, so don't just dodge the whole topic about me, what I'm saying. He dodges the whole topic, and I tried to help his argument. I said, hey, so maybe the fossils are too old to find. Oh, here they are, a literal image, a backdrop of skeletons. Okay, fair enough. I'm still going in the right direction because I've seen enough in my life. I know that God's real. I have enough affirmations in my life. I don't bring that stuff up because they don't want to hear it. I've had enough affirmations in my life, signs and stuff like that. I've had enough in my life to know. So I don't need to bring that up because, for one, it's so many I can't remember. Number two, yeah. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him and slay him. To slay him. And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh. Okay. Now come now therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, and we will slay some evil beast hath devoured him. So how does one more thing? I got a lot more things. I got all day. Okay. So if you're studying the Bible for 25 years, how does that benefit you or anybody else? You officially put the nail in your own coffin. You're okay. How does that work? How do you nail a coffin shut when you're inside of it? Lag bolts, I guess. He said he was a carpenter. That's the irony of the situation. He's got the same occupation as the Lord, but but uh but he doesn't want no. And it's great, man. So he said, I know nothing about the Bible just because I don't cherry pick the Messiah. Sorry, buddy, it's not working for you. Keep your day job. Keep your day job, man. Use your level next time. Use your tape. You're a little off. Your screws are stripping out. Yeah, make sure you lose your level and calibrate that thing, man, because you're cherry picking in your direction. I'm simply standing behind the New Testament. I'm standing behind the entire Bible. They don't conflict. It completed each other. Okay? It was a completion, and it goes on. And the Bible is our story. So don't sit here and tell me that because Jesus didn't build the temple himself, by himself, that he didn't fulfill prophecy. And his prophecy isn't over. He's not done. He's still working through us. He's still working. So how are you going to decide when the timeline of prophecy is over? How do you decide when that's over? I guess it's kind of like your Bible study. It just goes on and on and on. And you decide when it's over. If you can read your Bible for 25 years and end up saying that it's not true, or that some of it's true, or you don't know, you're on the fence. You believe it's a book, but you're not sure about the New Testament. If you can do that for 25 years, Christ can have all of eternity to go ahead and fulfill his prophecy. He can have all of eternity. So I see what you're saying. The stuff you're saying points in the direction that Jesus could not be the Messiah. But guess what? Christ is Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who came to take. Where does it say? Where does it say in John 3:16 Messiah? Where do you see in the New Testament talking about the Messiah? It may be there. Where do you see that? Where do you see in the New Testament talking about the Messiah? I'm listening, y'all. Where do you see that word Messiah in the New Testament? It sounds like just it sounds like something a man made up, if you ask me. Messiah. Who made up the word Messiah? Oh, am I getting somewhere now? Where is this word coming from? You're putting titles on the word, on Christ. Christ is the bridegroom. You're the bride. Messiah, no Messiah. Guys, you're pulling a wild card, man. I'm calling a flagrant foul with this whole Messiah card, man. This whole Messiah card is not working. I'm just gonna read this through, guys, because I don't want to get too off topic. But guys, I'm just saying, Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus is not the Messiah. There's no evidence. Guess what? You can call me Mr. Murray. You can call me Walter. You can call me James. You can call me Dude. Guess what? I'm still me. I don't care what you call me. The one who cometh. What language you're using. I'm still me. Don't get caught up on the technicalities, y'all. Please. And then reverse engineer. Reverse engineer stuff to fit your narrative. Okay? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm fair. I'm just saying. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Okay? So I said to him, your problem is, man, you're telling God what criteria he's meeting and not meeting to fit your definition of what qualifies to be this title that you're saying he's supposed to be. I said, what you need to be worried about is meeting God's criteria. You're walking out the door without your shoes tied. You're behind the 8 ball. Not only are you not you're probably doing it in this own you're way backwards. You're probably living a good Christian life. And you're just missing the main message. You're a perfect lamb for the slaughter. Okay? You're probably a good dude living a Christian life. A lot of good stuff, man. But you're just missing the main fundamental stuff, man. Don't tell God what he needs to meet for your criteria. Use some intuition when you're reading the New Testament. Here, it's not necessarily what they're saying, it's how they're saying it. Hear the stuff they're saying and say, whoa, you can't make this up. This is too raw, this is too genuine. He's really saying this with emphasis. You can really hear what he's saying. Hey, whoa, okay, he's not making this up. He really telling the truth. But maybe you don't have that kind of intuition or common sense to hear that. So I was informed last night that I know nothing about the Bible because I don't know cherry-picked prophecies about the Messiah. Okay. Not mean things. For one, I don't agree with the whole Messiah term anyway. Where is that used? In the New Testament. Where is that used in the letters? It may be there, but it's not a main selling point. Maybe, because that's cherry-picked too. Everything's cherry-picked. Everything fits the narrative. It's a biased. Saying that Jesus isn't the Christ is saying like telling the sun not to come up. Nope, you're not worthy. Don't come up. You're not this hot. You're not emanating at this. You didn't evolve into that state. You don't go up and down. Vertical isn't a real thing. Vertically, what is that? He said, what is that? What is that? It's just ridiculous, man. So, and then the diagram that I'm shown of this evolution is going back. He said, okay, this was us then, and then we go back further, and it's then. The pictures he's showing is pictures of animals today. If we're back then, how is it pictures of animals today? Help me understand that. We got a lemur and an Amazon, a Congo animal, a Congo mammal. He said, well, that's us then. And then we go back, and it's other stuff, but it's pictures of us today. At first it was apes and stuff. And then we go back and picture of lemurs and other stuff like that. But no, he's saying that this is us then. And stuff like that. So, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Keep your day job, bro. So, don't tell me that you have a solid case. When you're reading the Bible for 25 years, and the best thing you can come up with is that Jesus has accomplished world peace, and that he didn't rebuild the temple, and that Jesus said the lion of David was cursed. He came down by law. That's what that genealogy means. It has nothing to do with him being actually cursed. The Lord of the line was not cursed. He was talking about David's physical seed. That was not a physical seed. So Paul's cherry picking. You're telling me Paul is cherry picking in his theology? Guess what? I'm taking Paul's word over yours any day. So did the Caesars. So did the great minds that day. He went in front of the forums and converted people. He went all the way to Rome and appealed to Caesar. And they sent him. Guess what? He's making sound sense. It's the truth. Face it. Face it. It's the truth. What do you want to try? Messiah, carpenter, laborer, Masonite, a masonry expert, whatever you want to title it, he is what he is. Oh, well, he couldn't be the Messiah. No, what it is that you're not meeting the criteria. You've taken on the most fruitless endeavor possible. You set out to build a table, and guess what? I can't even go that far, man. And God, yesterday on the live, you endeavored to do the most fruitless thing, the most harmful thing to you. That has been your life's undertaking. You couldn't have picked a more fruitless endeavor and stuck with it. Okay? So in all fairness, I can't disprove what you're saying. I hear your case. It makes sense. I hear what you're saying. That's what makes me a more fair debater than you, because you're not admitting that I have a side too that makes sense. And it's like that for a reason. It's like that for a reason. It's like that for a reason. Okay? So, when you can sit here and tell me this, I'll take the Bible. Martyr me. Martyr me. Martyr me. I don't care, man. I don't care. This is stupid. This is stupid. All right. I'm going to read this through. They conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beast hath devoured him. This whole Bible is a prophecy about the Messiah, about the Christ, not about the Messiah. That word is a big stumbling block, okay? That Messiah is a big stumbling block. Don't get caught up on the Messiah there, okay? The big stumble like Jesus is the Christ. He's the one. Doesn't matter if you're expecting him to or not. He is what he is. He doesn't meet any criteria. He doesn't need any criteria. You can ask John the Baptist. You can ask You can ask the Transfiguration Committee. You can ask the committee of 1981, the Chicago Bible Inerrancy Committee. You can ask Lee Strobel. You can ask the Pope. You can ask anybody that is not cherry picking. Okay, you can ask anybody. Flip a coin, I don't care. You can ask anybody. Okay? I don't care. I don't care. Even one of the priests, when it was time for the Christ, he said, even one of the priests saw that he was supposed to be a lamb, that he was the Messiah. He said, can't you see that it's better for one man to die than for the rest of the people? The high priest assistant, or one of the high priests in the upper ranks said, can't you see what this is? And that's just scripture. He said, can't you see it's better for one man to die than for the people? He saw it. He realized it. And he said it. So, sorry. It's like this for a reason. It's not supposed to be. You're playing your part, okay? You're playing your part, and I'm starting to question. But the stance that he took, that I know nothing about the Bible because I don't know Messiah scriptures. I know better than to question the Christ. I know better. I'm not going to look for 25 years. Sorry, buddy. If you look for that long, it's not concrete. What do they do when they put people in prison? They study. They investigate, they find it, they find enough evidence, they close the case, they throw them in prison, and that's it. So don't sit here and tell me you have anything solid to go on when you study for 25 years. So we're planting seeds here. We're planting seeds. Because this stuff, I'm going to stand behind the word. Any questions that you have or scriptures that you have need to be definitive. But if I can dodge, you can dodge. I'm going to take the saints, Peter, Paul. I'm going to take their position. Okay? I'm going to take their position. Messiah, no Messiah. Christ. Jesus of Nazareth. Son of God. Son of God or no Son of God. Meeting your criteria, not meeting your criteria. Fulfilling, not fulfilling. Unfulfilled, fulfilled. I don't care what stuff you want to throw on it. It's not about what he's supposed to be. It's about what I'm supposed to be. That's my concern. What am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be? What good is it you doing to judge God and to say whether he's fulfilling stuff or not fulfilling? That's God. He can fulfill, not fulfill, have titles or not titles. He's already got 11 different names. But you want to throw a slab on him and say, hey, even on the cross, he was in 3 different languages. Latin, Hebrew. So, guys, chill with all this Messiah stuff, man. It's not making any sense. It's going to discredit the whole thing. Sorry, man. Well, I'm not trying to discredit it. I'm just trying to say he wasn't. What does vertically mean? You want to tell me vertically is not a word? He never answered my question. What does that look like when we're growing up? Okay, well, he said that's not how that works. Okay, so you're telling me that everything is relative to, okay, I got you. That's not how that works. I think I see what he's saying on that, but still. I see what he's saying. I think so. The expansion and all that. I see what he's saying, but golly, man, don't just sidestep the whole question. So come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit, and we will say, some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands. He said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto him, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him, that he might rid him out of their hands and deliver him to his father again. God, this is definitely Christ's picture, and that goes to serve my point again, that it's not just about cherry picking prophecies. The first word of the Bible is a prophecy about the Christ. They say, when broken down, the first word of the Bible is a revelation of the Christ. All through this, and I'll put a country twang on this. All through this, it's not about 6 major prophecies and whoever made that up, who said that's going to be the main ones, and all. Whoever compiled, he wouldn't answer my question. I said, who compiled this list? Who decided this was the main ones? I guarantee you it was somebody that was against the Christ. So my point is that you're biased. Okay. I said, who compiled? Oh, I don't know. He couldn't give me an answer. And you could tell whenever I struck a nerve, because he'd go, he'd cough and stuff. He'd clear his throat. He'd get worked up whenever I had a point. As soon as I brought up evolution, he knows when he's got a real weak position, man. So I'm going to welcome you to come back on the show and show me these scriptures. But guess what? I don't care if they contradict the Christ. I don't care if they say he's not the Messiah. And I don't believe in that whole Messiah term anyway. Where do you see God speaking about saying the Messiah? Where do you say about the Messiah? Where do you see that? So the whole thing, the whole Messiah concept at all to me is just a stumbling block, because it's not even doing anything. I've been reading the Bible for quite some time, and I don't ever really, be honest, recall God saying the word Messiah. I'm probably wrong, to be honest with you, but I'm just saying it's not a big selling point. That is an ancient card that was pulled. So I don't really feel that one. I know this. Jesus came. He performed miracles. He hung on the cross and shook eternal walls. Cosmic, universal proportions. He went down to hell. He preached the word. The book of Acts happened. People were martyred over this. People were martyred over this. People speak in tongues. They do it to this day. Peter, Paul, James, John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, all of these people speaking on the Christ. That's what I know. I don't know about all that other stuff y'all are saying, man. I'll take them at their word because they have actually published testimony. It's internationally recognized about eyewitnesses' account of the Christ. Now, we might have to let the regular study go today, guys, because I'm on to something. I repeat, eyewitnesses' account on the Christ, emphatically spoken, saying, surely this is not, I do not lie to you. At some point, you got to say, hey, he's not lying, man. At some point, you got to say that. And it says right here, to avoid cleverly concocted things, that we were eyewitnesses. And many more were eyewitnesses. And many more to countless others. Eyewitnesses. He's acknowledged in other books. You know, he's acknowledged that this was a real dude, man. So to go for a technicality, man, that's a reach, man. That's a reach. Okay, Jesus is real, but he's not the Messiah. Shut up. And because of that, the whole foundation of your religion is off. So I'll accept the Bible as a historical document with many errors, and because they're not meeting up to the Messiah thing, and all this, and it's just a reach, man. Let me tell you something real quick, people. The Bible and the Christ is the only truth in the world. I repeat, the Bible and the Christ is the only truth in the world. We come and go like the blades of the grass. The sun is coming up and down. You know, everything's coming and going, but this remains forever. Revelation. Straight facts. The Christ on the cross. Straight facts. Everything happened. Apostle Paul's theology, dead on. Peter, James, John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, all straight facts. Messiah, no Messiah, doesn't matter. Christ is everything, everything's in subjection to him. He is the boss. That's the criteria. So instead of pointing fingers and deciding what he's supposed to be, doing the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Literally. You're literally wearing your pants on your arms, and you got your shirt as your dang you're wearing your shirt as your dang pants. And you're wearing your shoes as earrings. So get up in the morning, brush your toes. Brush your toes. Okay? Instead of brushing your teeth, brush your toes. And instead of taking a shower in the morning, go roll around in the dumpster. Because that's what you're doing, man. You couldn't have picked a more fruitless endeavor. You're saying what you're saying. You're saying it confidently. A confident assertion. That's what Paul talks about. And cleverly devised schemes. He says, stay away from strange teachings, but remain firm. If anybody comes at you with anything else, this is not the case. Where do you see warnings about that on the other side? There's no warnings because it's not true. It's all pointing fingers. It's all grabbing straws. It's nothing. You've had to have any sense. You know when somebody's telling the truth. That's why they have juries and put people on stands. Because that's why they have juries and put people on stands and swear on Bibles. Because it's not necessarily what they're saying. It's the demeanor. It's the way it's coming across. It's the way it's said. It's the different eyewitnesses. It's a different stuff. So if you have no sense about stuff like that, about stuff, the appearance of things, apparentness of things. I don't know my Bible. I know nothing about the Bible. I've never read it. I should read it. And why am I defending the Christ? Guys. The Bible defends itself. I'm just reinforcing it. That's all we're doing here. So guys, I want you to have a good day. This was important, man. This was important that we had this video because I had to reground myself. Because this is BS, man. Don't show me pictures of animals today and say that's what we were going back. They're pictures of animals today. And just because you're saying stuff calmly and you're taking a higher position doesn't make it any truer or make your argument any more stable. Guys, you have a good day, man. We're on YouTube at Preach Facts. Have a good day. Happy Mother's Day. Okay?